Hey everybody, Jerry here, Execute Fitness, the Second Chance program, and this is an extension of the life resources that you will find inside our program. This is a alcohol guide, or basically how to party kind of guide, around the fact that you can consume some alcohol once in a while and still get away with it. So this is a long time coming. This is a guide that coming from my personal life in general as well. Being a fitness professional, at struggled with this kind of lifestyle in the past, and being able to overcome this, I basically come with this informative state of mind, giving you all the benefits or all the the pitfalls of doing this kind of life, or how does alcohol reflects into fitness, into lifestyle, into dieting, into nutrition, and how can you actually have to take this specific thing as similar as many life resources we have found inside the program already. So as I said, this touches particularly me from the past, so I did struggle with these things. I did not always understood that, of course, living a little bit on denial on the fact that obviously you cannot outwork a bad diet, knowing exactly how this thing can, make a huge impact. And now I want to actually make you understand how to get take this from the right place, and specifically that you can still enjoy sometimes life, but in the same way you do need to have a sense of what is a proper lifestyle, and you do have to have a sense how can you what can you get away with and what can you not get away with. So alcohol, is it alcohol bad or good? We don't, as always in the Second Chance program, we don't always want to hear things from people. We want to look what research said, and we want to always look at facts, not as feeling, not as what we heard, not as what we maybe some people applied, but not you. Okay, so it does take facts, and I will disclose this guide from a fact perspective and from what positive and negative things is being proven already by science and from empirical research. So alcohol is not an exception of the law of thermodynamics. So alcohol always work in the same sense of calorie in versus calorie out. So when we know that calorie in versus calorie out is what it takes for you to actually gain weight, lose weight, or maintain, we know that alcohol does provide 7 calories, times gram. So it's not the same kind of calorie, that other nutrients have. So it's kind of empty calorie, but in the same sense, what is being proven now from research, and what is being proven to, seen in also empirical research, is that nobody really knows what the calories are going when you take it into alcohol. But if you're not exceeding your calorie count, it shouldn't be too bad, or necessarily shouldn't really do direct correlation to you gaining weight or you gaining fat. Makes any sense? It's like we will see that alcohol is not good in terms of body composition. We will see the mechanism why you do gain sometimes fat from the alcohol, or from the alcohol comes along with the food. But necessarily, as far as thermodynamics, it does really act in a calorie sense like everything else. So you do have, if you do have a sense of how many calories you need and you don't exceed with the alcohol, you shouldn't see so much of a difference when you consume it. What is being proven right now is basically the alcohol dehydrates, and obviously the fact number 2, it creates a very bad environment for the muscle growth in general. So we're gonna see 2 examples here. We have a non-drinkers, and this is basically example in based on body weight. Okay, we have a non-drinker that is 55. As you go on, and this is more than what happens in a week. This would be what happens in general going down, and I did make a pattern kind of like shifting down. So there is, for example, somebody that loses some weight, as somebody would do a diet or a nutrition and workout as well. Like you would lose from, maybe even in a week, if you did exactly like an aggressive calorie cut, you would see somebody go down from 55 to 53, 54, and it's correlation of going down. Of course, you will not see in a week 3 kilograms less of in any kind if you don't want to lose mostly water or muscle. So this is kind of like a pattern to make you understand how kind of like the weight should shift down in a regular person. So the non-drinker would be that person in gray. The drinker would be here the person that, you know, the drinker would probably see something happening in the weight that's in terms of really losing water, so losing a lot of weight. So let's say that you get a couple of drinks in on Monday. On Tuesday you should be much lighter. On Wednesday you should still be lighter because of the water, you know, that leaves your body. But then 2 or 3 days after, you would probably be in the same weight you were before. And if you keep this pattern alive, so basically you would even be a little bit heavier, okay? Because now there is all this mechanism of you losing liquid first, on retaining liquid, on creating water retention. And as well, if you keep going up and down, you will still see, you know, a little bit more up on a Thursday, then you lose some more water. If you still drink on a Thursday, you lose more water on Friday, then going up on Saturday again, and then on Sunday you will find yourself a lot heavier. And this comes from this idea that, you know, the water keeps shifting, and you know, and as you retain new water, you create some water retention, and most likely you're gonna get some body fat with it, because on overall, as a default, it will create worse body composition, and we will actually analyze why. Fact number 3, we don't usually just drink, we usually get food with it, and at times, you know, the mechanism created by the alcohol, it makes you want to crave, you know, tasty food, fatty food, you know, fast food, and so on. So basically that's obviously, as you have alcohol with a lot of calories, you will have even more calories if you eat the food that quote unquote are not you know, considered to be good food. Alcohol, the problem with alcohol is lack of awareness. Obviously, fact number 4, it makes you lose senses. So as you say, okay, I'm just gonna have a drink today, if you go to the second one and the third one, chances are, you know, the whole euphoria created by alcohol, you know, the mood, quote unquote, that is created by alcohol is going to make you drink more. And as you see here, bottle of wine is still almost 500, more than 500 calorie. A gin tonic is 122, 126 calorie. I haven't put sugary drink here, and you will see later, but we're talking really about going from ranging from a very small 100 something calorie to almost 500 calories. So like you will see that it's much easier to drink calories than it is to eat calories. Alcohol decreases testosterone, so the ability for women to look anywhere closer than this. So if you look for muscle, if you look for the tone, it will leave you look a little just puffy. Low testosterone level, keep in mind specifically women that we're working with, all you women in the program, and women in general, has already low level of testosterone to begin with. So by doing gyms, you will get your testosterone to be higher in nature, and if you drink, you will naturally tend to keep this thing very much low. Alcohol does decrease the rate of recovery, aka when we're talking about hangover, it's basically a nervous system impact and protein system synthesis impact by 20% lower than usual. So basically, why from an hangover you feel like almost like you have no energy, fatigued, very similar than when you finish the gym, is because exactly it's the same thing that happened. The gyms, when you finish and when you go really strenuous, you're really impacting the nervous central system, and the same thing does alcohol. You know, with, of course, usually it would be the day after, and sometimes as you get, depending on the amount and depending on the frequency that you do, and you would see this thing lasting even a couple of days after that you drink. So the road of recovery is definitely decreased by alcohol consumption. Alcohol and cocktails, of course, the problem, fact number 7, sugar added calories. So we implementing not only the alcohol calories but also sugar, and of course, you know, what does you know, insulin spikes, you know, water retention, you know, everything bad about carbohydrates, which people say it's bad, are definitely, you know, impacted a lot higher, you know, with alcohol. Sugar drives alcohol into the blood system faster. This, if you tend to drive, this is actually even worse. That's, you know, if you do, again, tend to drive, any alcohol consumption is bad, but specifically with sugar on top of it, is driven much faster into the system. Alcohol is toxic. Is no way around that. Metabolism want to get rid of it before, so there is poor processing ability of calories. So this is one of the reasons why you do tend to lose water really quickly, but then a couple of days after you gain with the interest as far as weight, as well as at times poor body composition, because instead of your metabolism working well to get rid of your nutrients, your fats that get from the adipocytes into your bloodstream, instead of being oxidized in presence of alcohol, the body give alcohol priority to get released from the body via obviously urine, and that's why the reason, because when you drink or when you have a few drinks the day before, the days after you feel like going to pee much more often, or maybe during even in the night, there is this water retention period during the night, but then after you will tend to let everything go, and you will need to go to the restaurant several times. This is because obviously there is the need from the metabolism to get these toxins out of the way. Alcohol, like I said, get the priority, and it does store fat by default. Okay, it's like we said before. Once you drink, and you also get food in, the ability for the ability to oxidize fat or oxidize food, as we do when we go to the gym. Instead of the food being directed towards the muscle to get oxidized, the metabolism take the priority to get rid of alcohol first, and then stores everything by default. So the food gets stored much quicker and much faster. Some advantages, and not so many, but some advantages. Obviously, alcohol is fun, it's social, so it does everything that you already know. If you probably drink a few, you know exactly what are the positive about it, so I'm not gonna go into deep. You create a social environment, it makes you relax with your friend, makes you have fun. Alcohol does relax you if you don't exceed, if done rarely, if done in moderation. It does tends to relax your neural system, your nervous system in the first part. It doesn't fatigue second part, and of course the day after you feel much more fatigued. But the first part, if you do a few drinks, it does relax you and does make feel you a lot better. It does make you feel like like let go of things. You will relax. You will feel much more better for the moment. So if done properly, it's useful at times. Alcohol obviously helps you keep nutrition. The advantages is if done rarely, like we said before. It's helpful, for the good psychology. Of course, it does make you feel, like we said before, let go of things. So sometimes it makes you feel like you don't have so many problems. So like again, it's all about moderation, and it's all about something that it needs to be done with proper cognition of, of course, not on exceeding, on moderation. What to do? Obviously, what to do in a serious sense. This is really how to apply it to real life. As we said multiple times with nutrition in general, it can only be done when something is flexible and something is, you don't feel like you're dieting. Same thing with alcohol. If you like to do it, just plan it. And in this we'll see plan by the week. So that means that if you know that you're putting those extra calories in on the weekend, on Saturday or Sunday, and you go up to almost 3,000 calories of alcohol drink, which is maybe 500-600 calories of alcohol, then just stay lighter. Start off around 1,800 on if your normal caloric is around 2,500, just stay lighter on the beginning of the week, 18 or 1,700 calories. You really go down on a Wednesday or a Thursday, you can go down to 1,200, then pick up maybe on Friday around 1,500-1,600, and then you know that you're gonna give in on a Saturday or Sunday. This is the way you get away with things, okay? This is the way you don't get fat. If you really know that you 2 times in a week you're gonna seriously party, this is not a suggestion, or this is not by any means promoting a bad lifestyle. If you wanna getting real results, you should really not do these things anymore, or you should really plan it, or not do it so often. But if you know that you cannot give up the Sundays and Saturday, or the Friday or Saturday yet, you want to keep the, you know that these days you're going to consume more calories, maybe from a combination of just alcohol or alcohol and food. What you want to be doing then is really be light all the rest of the week, okay? On the same way, those days, you can also plan by the day. So if you know that you have 5 days, 5 meals in a day, and you know that you have to hit your, if you don't want to exceed your normal caloric and you really want to keep that into 2200 calorie, let's say that this is your normal caloric, you want to play by the day, okay? What you want to be doing here, you want to be very light on the first meal, maybe 300 calorie, then a couple of snacks of 100 calorie, and get one big meal that is going to include your dinner and your alcohol on the same, you know, like it could even be including almost 1600 calorie. You know, we see this very easy. If you get 3 or 4 drinks, you probably, and you know, an appetizer, you know, a first and a dessert, you probably, you know, something around 16 to 1800 calories. So like you want to be doing that. If you plan it, like I said many times, such as a cheat meal, if you plan it, it's no longer obviously a cheat meal. The important what to do as well, to be hydrated. This is very, very important. Ultimately, track and be aware of what you do. This is exactly also what you need to be doing. You need to have a sense how many calories, as you know, what alcohol you consume and how many calories it does have. And you still want to track if you're including this in your daily count or if you are currently doing a cheat meal. So you want to have a real sense on that as well. Track and be aware. Again, here one more time, I put this slide, and this is really neat, and I put this on the right, you know, for two different purposes. Number one is I want to show you exactly what your drug of choice, you know, whatever your drink is, what equals to. So you know that if you drink a pina colada, you're probably better off eating a full French fries size, or if you drink a mojito, is equal to you know, a bunch of chips. But I also put it here because I know that when you drink, sometimes you actually eat those food together with it. So I really want you to track what you're eating along with the alcohol, and specifically what is this gonna impact. So if you know that the pina colada plus that, you know, the French fries equal to 500 calorie, I want you to know and to plug it into your application if you specifically are planning to do that. If you don't want to track, we have an additional suggestion here. Again, if you don't want to track, and if you know that you're going to be drinking, I really suggest you eat low calorie density food. So you know already vegetable and fruit, and you know, and if you eat carbohydrates, you want to be eating you know, probably legumes or tubers before starches. Okay, so you want to be drinking less calorie dense food if you're not planning to track so much. Another very important thing, what not to do: avoid or limit. Don't binge on fat and carbs together after you drink. So if you drink and then you binge on this high density caloric food, and specifically high fat and high carbs together, in addition to the high calorie, I told you, you're not going to be able to process the fat so much better. For some reason, the fat are worse, specifically for the calorie dense properties, but also you're not going to be able to process it. So like if you really want to drink, don't binge on this kind of food afterwards or right away after. Lastly, don't binge on fat and salt as well. So any salty food along with the fat together, or you know, a lot of sweets with the fat as well, or it's salty like donuts and stuff like that, are also going to be a very much negative impact or anything else happening after you drink. Ultimately, the take-home message number one: the amount will be the very key factor of you drinking, you know, getting worse body composition. So the amount is the key, okay? The other thing that is very important to understand, take-home message number two, is about lifestyle and moderation is the key, okay? So as I said it many times, you know, you want to be monitoring your lifestyle. If you do it, if you plan for it, if that, if that's something that happens, then it's okay. But moderation and lifestyle will always be the key.